So ever since From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman dropped its very first episode, I said to myself, hold up. We need more anime like this. Just an adult fantasy, no gimmicks, no BS, just an actual adult fantasy. Because we don't get those that often. More common than we used to, just say in the 2010s, but still not as common as they should be in comparison to how much we get the same isekais and all these other stories. But after episode 6, really gotta highlight this, because for the most part, I was like, hey, this is a good episode, far from being the best produced episodes in comparison to a lot of the sword fights. And then they did the thing that I really enjoy, which is when I can come up here and deadass be like the 3D was the best part of the animation, that brings me great joy because, well, certain places like China have been proven to be damn good with 3D. 2B Hero X is a very good example of that. Then even in some Western stuff like Arcane, like 3D can be very good, but Japan 3D is still playing catch up, and then they just give me the most glorious 3D sword fight, and I'm like, oh, hot damn. Like, there's a couple of moments I could nitpick and be like, that was very obvious, but god damn, the stylization and everything was just so good, and that's the type of shit that just brings me joy. But what I really appreciate, because I thought what was going to happen with Mue would be that, she either trains under this, like, witch, and maybe she tags along to also sword school, and she'd probably grow up and be a little more flirtatious like the other. And to seemingly what they're doing is they went the mature route with this, where for Beryl, he's never started a family, right? He's definitely had students, and you could argue that's a type of family. But the idea that this girl has nowhere to go, and while she probably could have stayed with this woman, the idea that Beryl is the one who's shown him going out of his way, not once, but twice for her in such a life or death fashion. And the idea of him being rewarded a home, but also, if she chooses, you can adopt her. Like, while it's kind of like in a bit of a, oh my god, I'm a father kind of comedic thing, but it's like legitimately sweet because this girl has nowhere to go. And the one she wants to choose to follow is him because he's that great of a guy. And I thought it really adds to that maturity of the show, where you don't get the impression she's like overly flirtatious with him. She's a kid, right? She has nowhere to go. She doesn't trust adults. And while there are certain things she might have been able to trust with others, the person who's really shown her a different way to look at society and adults in general is Beryl himself. And that's such a touching part to the story, and just between the great 3D, the mature take on the adoption, like this anime is just showing other anime how it's done, and I refuse to take further questions on that. It's just that good. Of course, though, you want to see my full thoughts on this greatness, we do got the Patreon full and cut live reactions over there exclusively. So, basically it was necromancy. Evil Pope, they heard that we were going to pick a new pope. They said, hey, we got a guy for the job, and we said hell to the no to that guy. So basically, it's being presented at face value as reviving the dead. But I think your average person, when hearing that, would be like, oh, the person themselves there, like their soul, their mind, whatever. Now, this was just animating corpses in necromancy fashion for nefarious purposes. And what was really nice was how Beryl killed the sister. So all the others, he slashed down. Like, he wasn't happy about it, but he was protecting himself. But when it came to Mue's sister, he grabbed her in the most comforting way and did the most gentle slash on the back of the neck. He didn't decapitate her. He didn't do anything savage. He respected her body and made sure that she was laid to rest in the most peaceful way possible. And I think that was very, very touching. And I just like that overall because Beryl, I'm pretty sure this was his first kill too, the knight who he fought in the 3D scene. Because he has struck down people. Like, you could look at in the previous episode when he was invading basically the blackmailer's den, right? He did cut people down, but I don't think we've ever seen him properly strike a human down, like, for a death blow. Unless I'm misremembering, because there's been blood. In this episode, he cut down a few people, but it never felt like he, did finishing blows, right? The dude who refused to back down, that was a finishing blow. And I'm not sure if he's killed people in the past, but in terms of the actual anime with what we've seen, I don't think he's actually properly, sliced someone down. And I like that they didn't go the route of him, overly, upset, but obviously he's like, bro, I don't want to do this. I will defend myself if you keep coming at me, but I don't want to, so please stop. I just thought it was a nice detail. And overall, this is a show that I've been complimenting and praising the fact that the actual sword fights, when you pay attention to sword, it's not just like, clash, clash, clash. There's actual, like, there's parries, there's dodges, there's these different sword throws. Like, there's different martial arts and sword techniques used. So it's not just like some random animator doing their bullshit. Like, it's clearly a research series in terms of sword fights. And for the most part, the episode was serviceable. Like, it didn't look bad at any point, but it was a lot stiffer, I felt, than previous episodes. And then the 3D kicked in. I was like, oh, that's where all the time and attention went, huh? It wasn't like some 10, 20, 30-second fight. That thing was a good couple minutes, and goddamn did I like it. There's like 3, maybe 4 moments briefly where I was like, okay, very clearly 3D, a little jarring. But goddamn, this man was just coming at him, thrusting, and not in the fun sexual way. This dude was trying to kill, right? And he just refused to back down. And I loved how it looked. And just to see how, like, gory and everything he was looking like, this was a man whose blood was squirting like a goddamn fountain. It was insane how overly, like, graphic it was. It almost became comedic with how bloody this guy was. But I love how this man, it just felt like they're all a part of a cult, you know? It was just like one big-ass cult that they refused to back down from, and Beryl had no choice but to slice him down. I did completely forget that he was getting a reward, though. Honestly, I was probably expecting a cookie platter at most if he got anything, and he got a whole ass house. And it was a very nice gesture too, because it reminded me of the home he came from in terms of, you know, the home in the countryside with his parents. So I thought it was like perfect, and to see Mue in there, I was honestly expecting the entire girls to be in there. And while I guess that could still be a possibility down the line, they might try to move in, I appreciate that they went more wholesome with it, where it's the girl who has nowhere to go, because this is a girl who starts this episode off who's just so confused because all of the adults in her life have done her dirty. And the fact that no matter, like, why are you giving me an allowance? Why are you going to send me to school? Like, why are you treating me nice when I screwed you over? And the answer is that's what adults do. You're a kid. Don't treat me like a kid. You're a kid. Be a kid. And it has to be so fearful to imagine, like, I'm having all this kindness be thrown at me, but what happens if either they screw me over, they die, and I'm left to find a new group of people to hang out with again? It's going to be just like from before, if not worse. So the idea of that adoption coming around, it really brings her character full circle, and she's not going to immediately just be perfect from here on out. But slowly but surely, as the weeks and months and years go on, she's going to be able to let her guard down and grow up in a peaceful environment after suffering far too much. And if you look me dead in the eye and say that's not amazing storytelling for her character specifically, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it is really, really good. And while there's a few small gimmicky things about this show, as a whole, it feels like an adult fantasy. And while, yes, some people get like, oh, you know, Beryl's like, I'm just an old man. I find that stuff a little charming, a little funny. It's a gimmick that I like in anime, but it's not overly ridiculous like you have seen in other shows. And that's why I love this show. And I'm going to keep on preaching the truth because this show is damn good. Let me know your thoughts, though, down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Christian D. Ruffy, Matt Barker, Xenogod, Mario Jacob, Table, Brian Gonzalez, Cody Tiffany, and we also have Tiara's Grace. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. You know, have a good one.